Hello, my name is Tolg and I exist, therefore I think too much. So on the note of thinking too much, there is an individual who left a comment on my video and the relevancy is lost to the video and maybe the comment will be deleted in the future. So it isn't anything to do with the individual being spoken of. They have their own life and it is not a whole hell of a lot that I know about. However, how do I even get into it? To not say too much while saying everything, and way too much. I am so absolutely used to defamation. The city that I live in is big enough, but it has the mentality of a small town because there's not like a lot to do around here. And when I was in high school, I heard a kid say, "Oh, it's not what you do in Omaha, it's who you know." I told my aunt who used to live here that, and she goes, "Yeah, that's exactly how it is." And it has a hell of a lot to do with the grapevine, who you're connected to, who they're connected to, and who they know. So there's a lot of name dropping. It's a perfect environment for drug culture to thrive. And drug culture goes hand in hand with gossip because everybody's aiming to keep themselves safe, to know the right person, to have the right sort of quality of time. And then you take into consideration my fucked up past. And I have been, tortured, I guess is the word someone used recently. I've been chemically tortured, psychologically tortured, and then after that, both individuals used character defense of social abuse. Other people come to the aid on some derived premise of me being a terrible person. And this is not a character defense. I am not a perfect victim. There's a lot of fucked up shit that I believe I did. There's fucked up shit people say I did. I don't know the extent of what's said about me, but I do know that when I say I'm fucked up, it's nowhere near the levels of what people allow in their life of what is fucked up. So, all of this to say, one of the things that one of my abusers hides behind is something most white people don't have the ability to defend, which is they're racist. They have their wife calling me a racist. Their friends believe me to be racist. If someone comes into contact with this individual, something they spread, there are three things they say, depending on the individuals they're talking to. One, I'm either a monster or a demon. Two, I'm a cop, meaning an informant. Or three, I'm racist. And so when the other two come through with, well, those can't be possible, informancy, because I'm agoraphobic. I don't have friends. And I don't trust the cops. I've said it before in multiple videos. I think something like 140, too many fucking cops in Omaha were themselves taken out of their position of being a cop because they were running traps. I've had a cop look at me and say it's not worth arresting her because it's not worth the paperwork. So I don't have any trust for Omaha cops. And then in the current U.S. climate, I don't believe that people in positions of powers are correctly checked. I don't think that there's a hell of a lot of respect and honor for the positions granted. I don't think things are earned anymore. So I don't have trust. And I believe that communal justice is worth looking into, especially if people can get together and try to find an objective truth. now, having said that bit, again, referencing drug culture is prominent in Omaha. I've been chemically tortured by my ex, and grapevines are the lifeblood of the city I live in. Most people come together and say, I know her, I know this person who knows her, I knew her for a year, and thus I know her. And will drop whatever sentiment. If they knew me in my past, that's where the sentiment is that, oh, she's a loser, which is fine, great. And if they don't, they'll feed into whichever narrative helps them in what they want from their life. If they're looking to have better connections with other people, then they jump on the she's racist and an informant, because then they get to feel like they're a part of something, even if they don't know me. Now, referencing the fact that I am absolutely fucking white, and there's little to no defense anybody can have against being called something they're not. It's why defamation is a really hard legal charge to convict anybody of, because it's very difficult to defend yourself against social abuses of defamation. And if enough people have said it, it must be true, right? So addressing the comment, harming of peoples, I am getting tired of people, strangers especially, coming up to me and hurting me because they feel justified in doing so based on whomever said whatever. And I don't normally defend myself, because how would you? And who to? I don't talk to a lot of people. So first thing I want to say, same thing I always say, I think it is insulting. I know it's insulting to put me in league with some of the worst peoples in human history, in society. It's incredibly insulting to my character. And then to find out that someone has felt that I have acted in such a way to put me in league with people that are some of the worst people, my emotions get hurt. And I immediately want to jump to, how did I fuck up? How can I correct it? Which then plays into the other extreme. I have said this multiple times. I've never stayed at one school more than 2 years. All of grade school was 1 year each. So middle school was like, everybody was there for 2 years. It was perfect for me because we all felt awkward. And I had an acquaintance refuse to participate in a school project because I'm white and I could not know what she went through. Valid, I won't. And in that moment, being a child, I had to look at her, and I went through everything that happened in my life in a nutshell. I even pointed at the clothes I was wearing and told her how much they cost. I had to lay myself out and humiliate myself to be worth someone's time and therein get a grade. And every time someone comes to me with a defamatory proclamation, I always have to be raw. I always have to be the least of society. I always have to show my scars in order to garner an ounce of protection, an ounce of respect, just to be left alone, essentially. I have come into contact, speaking on high school, with people that say, my grandma told me never trust a white person. Valid. Especially grandparents' generations. Myself born in the 90s. My grandma was 93 when she died. She was born in 1910. So they were going through incredibly different times, incredibly different turmoil in the country. Ruby, the first girl to be black, what was her name, Ruby Ridges? To go to an all-white school and break that barrier, she's only 50 years old. So it is totally valid for someone to not trust me on the premise of me being white because of the trauma incurred from U.S. history. I have my own trauma, and it's not equal, it's different, but I can vaguely understand, not empathetically, but sympathetically. Because of this person that tortured me, I have seen lookalikes elsewhere. People that, look very similar to this individual. And I immediately jump back into my trauma and protective defensive system of either, flee or fight or fawn, depending on the situation. So I can entirely respect if you have seen a group of people's fuck up your shit and fuck up your people's shit, to then denote that trait in other people and go stay the fuck away from that. Keep yourself fucking safe. I respect the shit out of that. And I acknowledge, that life sucks. You're stuck in survivalism against your own fucking will. And especially with this current presidential fuckery, I respect needing to keep yourself safe even more so. The last time this person was president, there was a slew of people getting fucked up, and it was all categorized legally as them taking their own lives, which is a straight out fucking lie. And so I, again, thoroughly respect someone not wanting to have anything to do with me on whichever premise they feel they need to keep themselves safe. I, however, do not respect being told that I am undeserving of my own experiences, that I am a bad person when I do my utmost to continue to correct my behavior, to continue to learn. I do not respect being made into the dregs of humanity. I do not respect that. Their behavior pisses me the fuck off. Racist behavior could be because I'm bipolar. It results in, emotional reactions in my own person. So there's not any word that I can say to better describe it other than it pisses me the fuck off. So, and that's a privilege that I get to be pissed off, that I'm not war-torn on the other side of it, that I'm not struggling with that trauma. But I guess if I can acknowledge that someone else is fucked up and doled out from their traumas, then do I get to say everybody else is privileged because my abusive ex fucked up my life and continues to do so? I think that's unfair to them. I acknowledge my privileges. I acknowledge that I get to feel where other people don't have that same freedom. But I also do not and will never appreciate being told that I am doing something I am not. It is very difficult for me, after all of the abuse, to keep my shit straight. If someone is lying to me and then further tries to convince me of that lie, it is very difficult for me to keep my shit straight. So I, would love to sit there and be a comfort to someone, and I want to be soft as an individual and say, I'm here for you, whatever you want. But I don't want to be pushed into a position of needing to not exist for someone else to feel safe. I don't like being threatened because you feel threatened. And I don't know how to make things better as an individual. So now that that comment is public facing, whether it be deleted or not, this is, in case it ever comes up again, what is to be said about it? I think it is incredibly stupid, IQ-wise, intellectually, to believe that one race, any genetic disposition could be superior to any other genetic disposition. That's not how science works. It's not. I think there are genes that are superior and genes that are inferior, like blindness or schizophrenia are inferior genes, and that can be inherited onto any race or any genetic disposition, any chromosomal combination. Doesn't fucking matter. I don't believe that there is any superiority. We are all the same species. And I don't want to be grouped into violent, stupid individuals. I don't want to be seen that way, but I don't have any ability to say this is who I am because I've been socially abused into being agoraphobic. I have no public representation. The part of me saying I want to be soft, I want to be someone's comfort, I would love to say I'm sorry, but I didn't fucking do anything. I would love for my existence to help anything. But I don't have the ability to actively do that, especially when you go out of your way to seek harm in my person. I don't know what the fuck to give you.